All right, welcome everyone to our City Council meeting for May 9th, 2022. If we could have a roll call, Madam Clerk, to establish a quorum.
Melissa Green.
Here.
Terry McClung.
Yeah, I'm here.
Nick Roberts.
Here.
Harry Meyer.
Here.
Bill Ott.
Here.
And Autumn Slane is absent with notice. We have 5.
All right. Even though we do not have a flag, if we could stand and still say Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Get a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion to approve the agenda.
No, second.
I have 2 items I'd like to put on. Item 1 is Carroll County solid waste surcharge increase that I'd like to have under new business item number 1. And also, and this could be item number 4 or 5, discussion of the ward maps by the census block. So, anybody else have anything? If not, if I get a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
So moved.
Oh, second.
Is that you, Mr. Ott?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Sorry.
Okay, motion by Mr. Ott and second by Ms. Green. All in favor? Any comments? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, so moved. All right, get a motion to approve the minutes for April 25th.
Motion to approve the minutes of April 25th, 2022.
Second.
All right, motion and second. Any
Is that you?
changes? All right, all those in favor of approval of the minutes for April 25th, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Under commissions, we got Peter Graham for position 3 on the Planning Commission. Mr. McClung?
I'd like to make a motion that we approve Mr. Graham for the Planning Commission.
I'll second that.
All right, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Do we have the first quarter CAPC reports in the packets?
Yes.
Okay. That's just for y'all's information.
Okay.
And also under HDC, Mr. Graham's also submitted his application for the HDC on position 1.
Move to accept.
Okay, if you get a second.
Second.
Did I hear a second from someone?
Yes, Terry.
Mr. McClung? All right. Any comments, discussion? Mr. McClung?
The only thing, I just hate for them to overlap any longer than they have to. I mean, one commission can be enough, but when we're short like this, I don't mind it so much if they're game.
Yep.
Yep.
I discussed this with him, and he's
So-
interested. He's kind of retired, and he really wants to be involved.
Yeah, he does. I talked to him.
Okay.
Yeah, so I agree.
Which-
All right,
I have
Ms.
one.
Green?
One of the things, Terry, years ago when I was on both of them, it was kind of nice having someone on each one because sometimes we had applications that went to both and you were able to kind of explain a lot of stuff. So I like that there's going to be someone that is on both commissions, and I will say it now, I get to resign from planning. Yes.
All right, any other comments?
If he's willing to sit in the barrel, why not?
All right, all in favor of Peter Graham for HDC position 1, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, so moved. All right, public comments, please limit your time for 3 minutes.
Hi everybody, I'm Samantha with Eureka Springs Hospital. This week is National Hospital Week, and we are showering our healthcare workers with goodies. I'd like to take the time to thank all our local and regional sponsors: Best Western Inn of the Ozarks, Wonderoo Lodge and Gravel Bar, Grotto Woodfire Grill and Wine Cave, Sauce Barbecue and Brews, Emilio's Italian Home Cooking, Eureka Vintage and Outdoor, Living High Coffee and Treats, Bean Me Up, Oscar's Cafe, Eureka Springs Historical Museum, Spring Street Pottery, Hearts Family Center, Fresh Harvest, Little Wing Productions, Turpentine Creek Wildlife Refuge, Sunfest Market, Miss Kitty's New and Used, Opera in the Ozarks, Outer Limits Food Truck, Four Bare Feet, Good Shepherd Humane Society Thrift Stores, Thai House, Mei Lee Cuisine, Carmen's Tacos, Onyx Cave, Acords Home Center, The Great Plash and Play, Route 62 General Store, Just Be Coffee Bar, Napa Auto Parts, Eureka Springs Brewery, Booze Brothers, Eureka Springs Coffee House, Turtleback Ridge Family Fun Park, Eureka Springs Community Center, Hillside Eats and Sweets, Tia Sandy's Empanadas, True Self Recovery, KUAF, Arvest Bank, Equity Bank, and CS Bank. Thank you to everyone who have donated raffle items and food to our staff. And now I would also like to invite you to come see us at White Street Walk on Friday, May 20th. We're partnering with Oscar's Cafe. Join us for a stroke education and a community art project. We will be joined by local creators Kiara Perry, Summer White, and Stephanie Hatfield. Thank you so much for supporting our hospital. We appreciate all of you. And now I'm going to put on another hat as the volunteer coordinator for Good Shepherd Humane Society's new Carroll County Cat Coalition. And we are going to have our first meeting Saturday, May 21st at 11 a.m. at the Eureka Springs Community Center Community Room. We're focused on trap, neuter, spay programming, and then also moving from a sheltering to a fostering model, and then doing things like making sure that foster families have food, all that kind of thing. Anything that helps the kitties, that's what we're here for. So we'd love to see you all there. We want to build up a volunteer network so all the kitty cats in Carroll County are fed and cared for. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? That concludes our, I guess that concludes our public comments. So our next order of business will be the Carroll County Solid Waste Surcharge. Get a motion to discuss?
Motion to discuss the surcharge.
Oh, second.
All right. We have Mayor McKinney here to help explain a little bit about this surcharge. As we sit on the board for the Carroll County Solid Waste, and Mayor McKinney is the board chairperson. And Mayor McKinney, I'll let you take off.
Thank you, Mayor Berry, and the council members. I don't guess this is on, is it?
Yep,
Yeah,
it's on.
It's on.
Can y'all hear me okay?
Probably,
go.
there you go.
All right, you're going to keep a record of it. Well, thank you, Mayor Berry and members of the council. As I said, I'm a member, chair of the Carroll County Solid Waste. And as you all, I'm sure if you've ordered anything or know anything in the last year or two, surcharges and fuel price increases and everything have gotten really bad. At Carroll County Solid Waste, you know, we've got a long history here in Carroll County. It's something that I'm very proud of, that it's the smallest solid waste district in the state. We actually had to get legislation passed to become a solid waste district. And, you know, our goal is not to make a profit, it's to provide a service. And we always budget very tight because of that, because we try to stay within our budget. We're not trying to make our profit. And on the fuel, it's killing us. Our options are to come and ask you for a rate increase, or ask you, what we would like to do is ask all the cities to amend the budget to put a fuel surcharge on. And that could be, what it would be based on is whatever we budget for fuel for a year at January 1. When it got up over that amount, the surcharge would kick into effect. Now, the good thing about a surcharge is it goes away. A rate increase doesn't go away. And also, this surcharge, it could become a credit. If we budget too low, if we said $3 and it got down to $2.50, it could actually turn into a credit. We're not wanting to make any more money than what we're making. We're comfortable with where we're at. But right now, we're losing, last month we figured it's $10,000 over budget for 1 month. Carroll County Solid Waste is fuel is a very big part of our budget. We pretty much have at least one truck going to the landfill 24 hours a day, sometimes two. Plus we got, I don't know how many route trucks that we run. Just for example, in March, our diesel bill was $47,589. So that's why this is hitting us so hard. So what we're asking the council to do, we looked at this in several ways. One thing we looked at, like in March, we were $10,410 over. Just applying that per customer. But we just didn't think, and others had better ideas and are smarter than me, that Granny Smith with one bag of trash doesn't need to pay as big a surcharge as Tyson's. So what we did, we went to a percentage. And what it is basically the percentage, what we lose, and that fuel's 28% of our budget, and so that breaks down to, in March, for instance, we paid 85 cents a gallon more for diesel than we budgeted. And if you break that down using this formula, and these are outside city rates, these are county rates, which are a little bit higher than the city. The surcharge for March for your basic two-bag customer would be 61 cents. You know, and if we divide it up per customer, that gets up to about $2 or $3. What this does, you know, like if you got a 30-yard construction dumpster, it's, you know, which is normally $596, that's going to be at $16. So like I say, all we're trying to do is recoup our money and do it fairly to all of our customers and not make a raise. And we're asking all the cities. Some of them have a fuel adjustment clause in it. Some of them just got rate increases. They're all different. But what we're asking all of our members to do is have an addendum to the contract that would make this fuel charge a part of it. I know in the time I've been with the city and everything, it seemed like every time you go for a rate increase, fuel is a big part of it. You know, especially with as much fuel as we use. And this would take the fuel completely out of future rate increases. It would be on our rate increases was based on our operating cost, which, as you all know, you don't hire CDL drivers for less than $15 an hour anymore. And we've made some adjustments and we've cut some staff. Just as you all know, it's been a tough year to be in any business, but the last 2 years have really been tough for the trash business. We've actually had our operations manager on the back of a truck slinging trash. That's how shorthanded we've been. But we've been able to get through all this. But this fuel, it's a different animal, and I think a rate increase would basically be just a short-term fix for a long-term problem. I think this surcharge, if we amend the budgets, Bearable's already agreed to do theirs, put the fuel charge on. I think it'll take care of it for quite some time. Yes, Terry.
Is it annual?
Yes, and what it would be, every year we set our budget, and we would base our budget on, this is what we're going to pay for diesel this year, and that would be the benchmark that we'd use for the whole year. And then next year, we might have a different figure. You know, if we had, and we don't pay taxes on our diesel. We get the off-road price because we're a government entity, so we get it.
What I'm saying is do we have to renew this every year?
What we'd like to do, it would just become, if we amended your contract, it would just be a part of your contract, and then when a new contract comes up, I think they come up every, 3 years, 5 years, then it would become part of that permanently in the new contract. This would just be an addendum to the existing contract.
I thought you said it goes away.
I may have, but no, it would, what way did you think I say it?
I think if you said that fuel, if the fuel
If it's a surcharge,
adjustment
it goes away.
decreases, then it would go away. But
Yeah,
I think you meant it just
as
decreases.
long as,
we'd get
you know,
credit.
if it's 2 or 3 cents over, we're not going to send you a 1 cent surcharge. You know, it's going to have to get up about 20, 25 cents before we even apply the surcharge. But if we budgeted at $3 a gallon and it went to, like right now, it's $3.84, then that surcharge would be on there. But it's the same thing, if we budgeted at $3 and it went down to $2.50, that would actually be a credit on people's bill. Yes, sir.
Are you able to get bids on the fuel? You buy a lot of fuel, it seems like there'd be somebody.
Yeah, we've looked at that, but people just won't give you a price anymore, you know, on a long-term contract.
Yeah, they got you.
All they'll do is tie it to a market indicator and say, we'll give it to you for this many cents above this market price or this many, you know. But to get somebody to lock in a fuel price for a year now, we haven't had any luck with that. But
Uh-huh.
Does anybody else have any?
How does Berryville handle your fuel adjustment? How does this addendum work?
We haven't signed the contract yet because the Carroll County Solid Waste Board is going to meet Thursday to discuss this and go ahead and adopt it. We're going to either do that or we're going to start asking for some rate increases. But what the city of Berryville did after laying it out to them, they voted to go ahead and give me the authorization to sign the contract once the Carroll County Solid Waste gets it ready, as long as it falls within the perimeter of what I presented to them. Now, you know, I'm not, and I don't think any mayor is stupid enough to go sign a contract that's not what they told them. But there is a real urgency on this. You know, I mean, we're at the point now where we've got to get the surcharge in going, or we've got to initiate some rate increase requests. I mean, and I don't mean that as a threat at all. I mean, I'm just saying that that's where we're at financially. You know, when you budget tightly and you're running anywhere from $10,000 to $20,000 a month over on one item that's probably one of your biggest items, you know, we've got to do something pretty quick.
How far is it to the landfill?
It's over at Tawny Town, over the other side of Tawny Town, is like on 412. One truck can make 2 trips a day if they time it just right, you know. But a lot of times we have 2 trucks on the road, and they'll be having the truck, and they'll be pulling the pup trailer with another load of trash on it. So it's we've looked at one time we can actually go to Cherokee Nation and on over in Oklahoma for just a little bit cheaper, but the fuel cost just doesn't justify the price. So, and like I say, this is Carroll County Solid Waste. That, you know, like I say, our mission is to provide a service, not make a profit. And I think if you want to call down, I just invite any of you to call down ADEQ and say, hey, tell me about these solid waste districts. They'll bring up Carroll County. You know, we're their poster child, and it's because of all the hard work. And this thing is actually hatched in Eureka Springs probably 25 years ago, and it's evolved into this now. We have our equipment paid for, our buildings. We try to operate primarily on cash, but you know, this is something that we have to do, and we need to do it quickly. Just we don't want to get in the hole. We're not, you know, way down in the hole any more than we have to. But like I say, we're not a waste management. We can't pull on. We can't lose money here and then make it somewhere else and everything. You know, we have to operate within our budget. And so, I guess what I'm asking you all tonight, if you all would consider amending your budget to do this, and as long as we stay in. Just to give you an example, I told you that on this month, 80-some cents. A 2-bag customer would be at 61 cents. You know, if you get up to a 2-yard container, which is normally $80, then then you're looking at a little bit, you know, about $1.28, I think, or something like that. So, or $2.28. So, it would be a very small impact most months on the customer. And if we budget right, surcharge never would just kick in. If we budget $3 a gallon and it stays $3, $2.95, $3.10, it'd never kick in.
So your organization hasn't ratified this yet either?
No, we've got to meet Thursday. I mean, we've talked about and kicked it around about
Okay.
what way we want to go.
So then you do that, and then you make a formal proposal to us, and then we look at it, right?
I'd like to make my formal proposal tonight because this is what we're going to do.
But we don't know what the meat and potatoes is going to be. I mean, shouldn't we see something in writing? Didn't you say good mayors don't?
Well, no, I mean, it would be contingent upon us giving your mayor something that I'm not going to come in here and tell him one thing and give him something else, Terry. You know me better than that.
Well, I didn't say that you were, but I just think it's prudent on our part to look at it before.
Well, it would all I'm asking, Terry, is to expedite this, is that you all authorize Butch to sign it if it's what we say it is. And I mean, he can pass it out to you and let you all look at it and everything before, you know. I'm not, but if not, I'm going to be back in, 2 weeks, and tell you the very same thing. It's not going to change a bit.
Mr. Ott?
If the fuel prices keep increasing, we decide whatever, we get the numbers and we decide to increase our budget by that much, is there a possibility of you coming back later this year and asking again? Or is that the only increase we're going to have on our 2022 budget is this one?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Now,
This
just a minute, I'm sorry, Mayor. Bill, this isn't in our budget. This is just what your water bill would be.
Okay.
This is separate.
For whatever reason, are we only going to be hit with this once a year, or?
Never know.
No, what, it would be, when I see budget, I'm talking about Carroll County solid waste budget.
Okay.
And every year, we're going to prepare our budget, and we're going to set a price of what we think we're going to have to pay for diesel per gallon for that year. If it gets out of that perimeter up over 10 or 15 cents more than that, then the surcharge would kick in. If it falls down below, it could actually kick in and be a credit on the bill as opposed to a debit.
So this means you wouldn't be coming back if prices increase, you wouldn't be coming back again in 2022?
I think your contract is a lot like ours, and it says, shows we have to justify any rate increase. If we came back with you for a rate increase, it would have nothing to do with fuel. It would be we've got to hire more people, we've do something like that. This would, I see you there. This will take the fuel part out of, when it goes up $1 a gallon, we won't be coming to you and say, we want a rate increase. Well, if we get a rate increase and it goes down, I'm sorry, Terry.
Bill, I think if I understand it correctly, with a surcharge, it's based on the rate. So if the rate goes up, the surcharge goes up. There's no ceiling. There is no ceiling.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Cost of fuel.
Yes. Just like if we didn't have a surcharge and the price of fuel, went to $7 a gallon, we would be here asking for a rate increase.
We got to get Tesla trucks next year.
We need a big battery to pull that much trash, but yes, it would kick in. But if we didn't have the surcharge and it went to $7 a gallon, we'd be here asking for a rate increase, and by our contract, it would be justified. But a rate increase, we'd have to come back, and it went down to $6 a gallon or $3 a gallon, we'd just be making more money.
Yeah, I get the idea. It's like the surcharge is a better way to go.
It's more fair.
Yeah,
more
it is.
equitable. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like I say, I said at the start, we ask our managers to make your budget as tight as you can. And so I think we were a little low on fuel this year, and it may be partly my fault for trying to get that budget down. But it's a problem. It's been a problem in the past. Every time I've gone to the Bearable City Council for a rate increase, fuel is in it. But if we get that surcharge to come to you and say we need a rate increase because fuel went up, start throwing rocks at us, run us plumb out of here. That's what we're trying to do. We're just trying to get the fuel price part of our business stabilized.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Mayor McKinney, but all the cities in Carroll County have a contract with Carroll County Solid Waste for them to handle our solid waste pickup. So we have that contract. What we don't have in our contract is this surcharge, fuel surcharge. So we never anticipated the fuel going up like it is. So now instead of doing a rate increase, which would affect $2 or whatever for everybody, they're doing it based on the fuel. So and I don't think, you said 60-something cents for rural customers. It'll be less than that for our municipal customers.
And that's based on our current month of March, when I think we were 84 cents over what we budgeted. So, you can look at it, it looks like forever, if it went up $1, I'm guessing, your people's bill, the residential people, it's going to be 75 to $1 forever dollar the price of fuel goes up, But all it does is let us stay within budget. If we don't budget, the way it's going now, we're going to end up in the year over $200,000 over budget. And
So you're able to handle the maintenance, the employees' wages, all that stuff is within budget, everything's cool. The only thing pushing the budget over is the fuel,
Yes,
right?
Yes, sir, and it's, and we've had to make some adjustments, you know, like
Sure.
I say, we've had managers on the back of truck, I thought they were going to get me out there to drive a truck one day, but I told them my CDL expired. But, I mean, it's been a challenge. So far, we've handled that. I'm not going to say in the future that not be, you know, some part of a rate increase, but if we get this fuel
Yeah.
surcharge, that it won't be. It'll just be a.
Well, Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we authorize you to accept surcharge.
Okay. Have a second?
I'll second.
All right, Ms. Green seconded. Further discussion? All right, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Terry had his hand up.
Never mind. Aye.
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 I think that's unanimous. All right,
Yeah, thank you all very much for your time and your service to the citizens of Eureka and all about. I know I've always admired you all over here. I say, man, they exist in spite of themselves, but you all do a great job of herding the cats. Thank you.
thank you, Mayor McKinney.
Take care.
All right, our next item of business is a resolution for a TAP grant acceptance.
I'll make a motion to discuss.
Second.
This is a packet. I think it should be in your, or a resolution should be in your packet.
Yeah.
This is a continuation of the safe pedestrian routes. It's a third phase. The first phase went from approximately around the quarter, around down to the Eureka Inn. And then we start in the second phase, which should be just about ready to be let. There's a sidewalk going basically from Plainer Hill down to
Nelson's?
Nelson's, yes. And this goes from Nelson's onto the community center. And what this is just resolving that if we are awarded the grant, then we will match the grant, $101,000 grant. It's an 80-20 grant, and we will match it with $20,000 for the sidewalk improvement, continuing from Nelson to the community center. So we will have a complete sidewalk now from the community center to Plainer Hill, and then from Plainer Hill down to Hart's, I think's where it stops at, if I'm not mistaken. Mr. Ott?
Oh, to Hart's,
So-
too.
And so this is to the, like, the community center, the driveway, right there where the newspaper office is, right, kind of right there?
Well, it's to the driveway, yeah.
So there still won't be a sidewalk then from that driveway around the corner to Kings Highway?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. Mr. McClung?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to assign this resolution a number and read it for passage.
I'll second.
All right, Mr. McClung made the motion to assign a number and read for passage, and Mr. Myers seconded. Any further discussion?
Well, I've heard a lot of people ask for a sidewalk on the highway, so this is a good idea.
I'm glad to see it
Yeah.
getting started.
Yeah,
All
absolutely.
right.
Ms. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Ott?
Yes.
Mr. Meyer?
Yes?
Mr. Roberts?
Yes.
Mr. McClung?
Yes?
5-0.
All right.
The resolution number will be 819, a resolution to authorize the mayor to seek, obtain, and use TAP grant funds. Whereas the City Council of Eureka Springs, Arkansas has determined that the City of Eureka Springs meets eligibility requirements necessary to apply for a grant under the Transportation Alternative Program, TAP funds available in 2022. And whereas the City of Eureka Springs would, if awarded, use the TAP grant funds to install a 5-foot wide concrete sidewalk along the east side of West Van Buren Street from Nelson's Chapel, traveling northward to Crockett Street and the Eureka Springs Community Center. This is Phase 3 of previously approved TAP projects and provides a safe pedestrian linkage from South Main Street to Crockett Street. And whereas the city can obtain funds through the TAP grant program on an 80-20% match basis. Be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Eureka Springs, Arkansas, that the mayor is hereby authorized to submit an application, a formal request, to the Arkansas Transportation Alternatives Program for the purposes of securing grant funds in the maximum amount of $80,880 to aid and assist the City of Eureka Springs. This is an 80-20 grant with the maximum City of Eureka Springs matching amount of $20,220 for a maximum project total of $101,100. The mayor is further authorized to administer the grant funds for the same project if awarded.
All right, thank you very much. All right, our next item of business is a discussion of resolution requiring all electronic devices, including cell phones, laptops, be turned off.
I'll make a motion to discuss.
Second.
All right, Mr. Myers?
Well, if I'm texting somebody while I'm sitting here at the table, somebody that's at the table or somebody that's elsewhere, we're violating the open meetings rule. So I think it's a good idea that we institute no electronic devices at the table. Now, if we need to look something up or something, we can authorize someone to get out a laptop or whatever and look something up, but not individually.
Mr. McClung?
Are you suggesting I might be doing something illegal?
I don't even say anything about you, did I?
No, but, you know, I don't find it distracting for anybody else to do it, and yeah, I keep my phone is on. But, you know, I pride myself in what I do sitting at this table.
I didn't accuse you of not.
So, I mean, I think we're adults. Certainly we can handle such things.
Mr. Ott?
Well, that was my question. I think it's a good idea, and obviously it brings to light the fact that if someone is sending, you know, emails back and forth or whatever, isn't that already a violation of the FOI or procedure, or do we need that? What I'm saying is, you know, I've done the same thing. I've looked up things on my phone, you know, that might help me with the discussion or understanding something. And so therefore my phone is on. I don't text anybody or send emails to anybody that would be inappropriate, because I thought all that was already in place. The inappropriateness is a violation, whatever. Correct me if I'm wrong, but, you know, I'm saying, do we need this? So.
Well, I'm sorry.
Mr. Meyer?
Go ahead.
Go ahead,
Miss-
Terry.
No, go ahead, you haven't spoken yet.
Okay. Well, I've watched people texting. I was at the CAPC meeting last week, and I watched someone in the audience and someone at the table, and it was pretty obvious they were texting each other. And that is a violation to me, or passing notes is, you know, everything's supposed to be out in the open, and we keep using this word transparent. I agree, sometimes we do need to look up stuff, but we don't need to be texting information back and forth or having someone tell me what to ask, a question. I mean, I come to this meeting prepared, and I think, Terry, obviously you do. I've never seen you use your phone here.
I can think of a compromise. Let's say Mr. Ott doesn't quite understand what's going on and wants to look something up. So he just raises his hand and says, let me look this up and see, and I'll tell you what I found.
Okay.
That would be
Ms. Green? Mr. McClung, I'm sorry. Let me get Mr. McClung first.
You know, quite often, things at this table are not so technical that if my kids want to send me something about a ball game or something like that, I'm capable of carrying on 2 things like that at a time,
Yeah.
you know. So I know that sounds crazy that I can do that, but I can usually pull that off, you know. I don't see the big deal. You know, if my personal integrity, if I'm not trusted enough to sit at this table and be honorable, then I don't need to be here. So, you know, I think it's an infringement on our integrity. I'm not sitting in 4th grade class at this table.
Ms. Green?
Well, in classrooms, they don't allow you to use your cell phones.
I'm in
but-
no classroom, my
I
dear.
know,
Mr.
I know.
McClung, hold on,
but
please.
It is a freedom of information, and somebody's cell phone records could be FOIA'd. And I agree with Harry. I think, Terry, if you know your kids are going to go, you probably pick up your phone. But I've never seen you pick up a phone here in all the years I've been sitting here.
I pick my phone up all the time.
Well, I've never noticed you.
I do.
Well, where
Be the
is
first to admit it,
where is it?
right here.
Well, let's, come on.
I was just curious.
Mr. Roberts?
I've never really actually seen anyone texting or seen that being a problem besides looking up information. So I was kind of surprised by this because I haven't noticed any back and forth or anyone being disconnected from the meetings for that. So I don't know what kind of an issue it is here. I don't know if we need to really address it. It's just the code of ethics of what we're supposed to do and what we're not supposed to do. But that's why I just leave my phone in my pocket. I don't really have any need for it while I'm at the meeting. It's just like an hour or 2. So I don't have any problem not having it.
Mr. Ott?
Let me ask Mr. Meyer a question, if I may. Do you feel like bringing this to our attention is sufficient enough, or do we need a resolution making it verboten to have our phones?
No, I just thought we ought to discuss it.
Okay.
Bring it to everybody's attention that if you are texting someone else, watch out, because you can get FOIA'd if it has anything to do with city business or not, especially if you FOIA on somebody or texting somebody else at the table or passing a note. You know, it doesn't say here, it used to say all electronic devices would be shut off, which used to announce that at the beginning of every meeting, and we don't. Because I know the phone will mess with my hearing thing here. If there's a phone on close to it, it'll just go buzz, buzz, so. I don't know.
Any further discussion? All right, hearing none, then I'm assuming that we'll move on to our next item, which is discussion of the current process for people being able to give public comments. Your motion to discuss?
I guess I can start. The only reason I wanted to bring this
I
up.
need a motion.
Oh,
You made a motion.
well, I moved to discuss.
Do I have a second?
Okay, I'll second.
All right, Mr. McClung seconded. All right, Mr. Roberts?
Just, this is more for the public and their concerns. Just many people had come to myself, and people that I knew in the audience had heard that people were not able to speak or given the opportunity to speak during the previous meeting, and I don't think that should be acceptable. I think we need to make sure everyone's able, there's not a complicated process, and if someone, even if they came in during the comments, they could just get up and speak and talk. I don't think it needs to be a like, no, you're too late kind of situation. But I heard from like 2 or 3 individuals that wanted to speak that didn't get to speak. So I wanted to make sure that that was addressed and that we kind of remind or go over. I mean, we have this process where we sign them in and stuff like that, but we're not trying to keep anybody from speaking, and I don't think we should do so.
Ms. Green?
Well, for 20 years, we've had this process, and I'm a big proponent of public comments, because I think our public should have the right. But it is a privilege, and, you know, if people can't be here by 6 o'clock and sign up, I'm sorry, we're doing our meeting, and they can come in and be here at 6:50 and still sign up. I don't think we should change anything.
Mr. McClung?
I think as long as the period for comments, public comments is open, the list should be available. I wouldn't know why you couldn't get on it. You're not infringing on anybody that's moving in front of you. I know many times in the past that people have gotten on the list at meetings when they've come in past the initiation of the meeting itself. It was done a lot. So, I mean, as long as it's prior to the when the mayor says that's it for council comments and move on, I don't see any problem with it.
All right, anything else? Mr. Ott?
I'm trying to think back. I was on the council in 2003, 2004, and I don't remember what the public comments thing was. I just know that those 2 years, it was pretty chaotic with anybody coming up to the microphone during any time of the meeting to address anything. And it got pretty, I'll just keep the word chaotic during those times. And I think this at least gives it some order. So I don't think we're infringing on anybody's rights to speak. We just need to let them know that if someone wants to speak to a certain topic, they need to be here by 6 to put their name on the list, and that they're limited to 3 minutes. So that's just my opinion.
Ms. Green?
Just kind of a history note. I remember when I first came here and was watching council meetings, our council comments used to be at the end of the meetings. And I think we're really good by allowing them right away.
Mr. McClung?
Our council comments are still at the end of the meeting.
You mean public comment?
Public comments.
They've always been at the beginning ever since I can recall. And I was back on the council when Bill was.
Okay.
in
I
early
just remember
2000s.
one time they were at the end of the meeting.
You know, I just don't,
Well,
there's
that's all right.
a lot of people can't make it by 6. They get here when they can. And if it's prior to closing council, or citizen public comments, I don't see any problem with it. If you want to make a motion to do something, why, have at it.
Point of inquiry,
Mr. Ott?
is it possible for them, if they can't get here to sign up by 6, can they sign up online for public comments for a
I
meeting?
think we have a method of doing that right now.
I mean, but could that be orchestrated where they could sign up?
I'm not sure how that would work, Mr. Ott, to be honest with you.
Okay, I'm just saying, if people can't get here by 6, but they know they want to speak at a certain meeting, and they could have their name on the list,
I think they could always call. They could call the clerk.
okay, then that's
And I
the,
think that's been probably done before. I'm not sure.
oh, good, okay, then that does it, we don't want Ann's phone to ring off the wall all day long, but, as long as they have a way to do it before 6, and they're not going to be able to get here until after 6, I think that's a fairly good way to do it. So I'm glad it's there. I didn't know that.
Not online. A phone call is the way to do it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mr. McClung?
I also believe that a person can get here and be at the meeting, and for whatever reason, for being timid or having a moment of clarity on a topic, and it comes to them and they get the urge to speak, they ought to have the opportunity to get on the list before it's closed. I just don't think that's really an issue. I don't think a person should be cut off because they didn't make it here by 6 o'clock. As long as council comments are open, they should be able to sign up. As soon as he says, that's it, we're done, then it's done, then it's done.
Mr.
My
Meyer?
take.
Well, another thing that we have done in the past that I don't know, Nick doesn't know about, is if you have a constituent that comes to talk to you about some issue on their street or whatever it is that's bugging them, you can actually contact Ann and ask to have that person on the agenda to speak to the subject that you're going to bring up, like I did with Susie Allen with her
Okay.
cars going down the wrong way and things like that. And that gives it a little bit more than 3 minutes.
Thank you.
Call the question.
I'm not sure, was there a motion and a second?
No, he's just wanting to end discussion, I think.
All right. All in favor of the question, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, so moved. All right, that brings us up to the next item, get a discussion of the ward map by census block.
Motion to discuss the ward map.
Second?
All right, Ms. Green made the motion, Mr. Myers second. Madam Clerk, I'm going to turn this over to you.
So let's address these things separately. Here you go, dear.
Oh.
After the process that was followed to update the ward map with ordinance, I think it was 2324, I went about the typical process of sending the new address list over to the county and realized that more entities are aligning with not the traditional, how many voters do you have in a ward, but how many people live in the ward, including children, for the purpose of GIS mapping. And I had several very interesting conversations on the phone last week after the ordinance was passed with a lady who helped me see right away the value of making mild adjustments to what has already been agreed to allow Eureka Springs to the ward map to knit with the GIS mapping that's used by the state, the county, probably the people who are planning the broadband. So we would be changing tradition to make use of a tool that's available and commonly used now. So if you look at the first piece of paper that was passed, the variation would be primarily that green that was picked up in Ward 3 would scoot back down to where it has been since 2012. That Ward 3 line would move back down to Berryville. That's the primary change between what you've already agreed and what would be the case by using census blocks. What you see in red, where Ward 1 moved a bit into Ward 2, would remain. Interesting note, no incumbent is affected by any of these changes. So if anybody has any trepidation about that, it is really a non-issue. So this data was generated by the lady I was working with. And as you go through, you can see the overall map and then zooming in key streets. And you can see where Ward 3 scoots back down to the line that we used since 2012. When this is actually loaded, this is another really lovely thing about it. If we walk this path, we can go directly from, we can take out a lot of the middle steps. There's no driving to an engineering firm, having a map made, having a thumb drive made, loading it on the city website. This map can be integrated into the city website, and it will allow people to look at various layers. So it's much more, it will be static, but it will be much more dimensional. So if people are using it for planning small housing units or something like that, they already can plug into that. So I'm willing to put the extra effort into creating a new set of address lists if the people at this table are in agreement that using this process is to the city's benefit.
What action we need to take on this, Mayor? Just, is this alter what we did with that? Does that need to be amend the ordinance that we did?
It would not be amending it, sorry.
Okay.
It would be a new ordinance. Sorry.
So did you hear that?
Yeah, Mayor, yes, then I would move that we have drafted a new ordinance that would reflect these changes, because I know that a lot of hard work has gone into this, and I know it was done diligently with the best interest of the community. So I say, with that kind of hard work and recommendation, I think we ought to do it.
I second it. The GIS is the way to go.
All right.
So please hold on to these, because when that process takes place, this will be the supporting information. There won't be a new batch of these produced, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Ott made a motion, and Mr. Myers seconded to go back to the GIS boundary survey for the districts. I think is that correct? Okay. Any further discussion? Comments? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. So you will get with, you'll draw up the legal descriptions.
I'll visit with Mr. Jacoby about the next step, if that's all right.
Okay? All right.
Mr.
All right.
Mayor,
Yes, sir.
did we take action on the request about the solid waste thing, or is that something that just the mayor does?
I think we did take action. We passed that.
Okay.
With the
All right.
authority, so, yep. All right, that concludes our meeting. Agenda setting for anybody? All right, city council comments. Mr. McClung, I'll start with your side this time.
I have none. Good to be here.
All right, Mr. Meyer?
I enjoyed the beautiful weather this weekend, and the parade was fantastic, and I hear Terry did a bicycle trip. It doesn't look like he lost any weight, though.
I ate well.
Not on an electric bike.
That's what happens to me whenever I exercise, so.
Ms. Green?
Oh, I just want to thank a lot of people that got a hold of me. I got a lot of support, and it was really nice talking to people I hadn't talked to in a long time. And beautiful weather, great parade. Harry looked great on his Segway. No, and you didn't look like you lost any weight either, Harry.
All right, Ms. Roberts?
I want to follow up on that, the outrageous parade and all the life coming back into the town and people being vaccinated. It's just great. I love it. The hugs are back, thank goodness, and I'm looking forward to a good, great future. It looks like our numbers are up and hopefully keep staying that way, and we just keep making the town better and to keep building on that. And thanks so much.
Mr. Ott?
I'm restating this, but the outrageous parade was wonderful. I want to send out kudos to all the organizers and participants in the parade, and it's already been mentioned, but Mondo kudos to Councilperson Meyer, who two-wheeled it all the way down Spring Street and added an extra dimension to the parade. So thank you for doing that.
It was the wings that did it.
Yeah.
Okay. And the other thing, with it being the May Festival of the Arts, something that we've missed for a couple of years, I would encourage people to find the calendar for all the May Festival of the Arts activities, and let's just not be glad it's back, let's be glad it's back by showing our support and our attendance and all that at the different events around town for it. So, let's celebrate it, not just be glad it's back. So with that, I'll say thank you.
All right. As mentioned, the May Festival of Fine Arts is in full swing, and it was good to have the outrageous parade once again coming down Spring Street this past weekend to kick things off. And it was enjoyable to watch Harry with his wings come down on his Segway there. And it was a great parade. I think it was real enjoyable. I was glad to see it. I know the people were happy to see things starting to come back into life. But I do want to remind people, too, that some of the upcoming events that we're having, we got the Eureka Springs Plein Air Festival, takes place this week from May 10th through the 14th. So you'll be seeing artists around town, outdoor painting, and so hopefully the weather's going to be good for us. I think it's supposed to be clear. Also on the 14th, we're going to have the Arkansas Camaro Show. Will be held at the Passion Playgrounds with the Camaro Parade coming down Spring Street at 5:30. And one of our favorite parts of the May Fine Arts, or at least for me, is the White Street Art Walk returns May 20th, and it's from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. So be sure to go out and see this event. It's always a lot of fun, and get to see a lot of people you haven't seen in the last year, and people from all over Northwest Arkansas show up for it. And then the Bel Airs come back to the Basin Park on May 21st from 5 to 8. So bring your chairs and come out, because the Bel Airs are a great group that we hadn't seen for a while, and we're starting to see more music back in the park, so that's exciting. So overall, I think we've got a great May Fine Arts coming up, and with that, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Yeah, get up and leave. Thank you all.